Hi crafters, it's Karen, and I finally finished my Tim Holtz inspired mini album. Now I did a series of videos sharing how I put together and assemble my mini albums, including the pages and the binding and all that. So this is the album that I was working on when I shared those videos. So, at any rate, I finally completed it, and I have to tell you, this took me a while, only because working with all of these gorgeous papers from Tim Holtz and all of the very, very cool Tim Holtz, what do you call it, embellishments and everything, I found it like intimidating. Because, you know, you're using all these awesome products, so you want your project to measure up to the products that you're using. I don't know. So in that way, I found it intimidating and hard to work on. But eventually, you know, I got through it, and yeah. So this is my result. So the album, as I mentioned before, it's an envelope album created using craft envelopes and cardstock, and it measures. I'll just tell you what the covers measure. The covers measure 6 by about 4.5. So it's a smaller sized album. Chipboard covers. I used an eyelet back here on the spine so I can dangle some pretty lace and seam binding. I did clip on a garment pin one of these little, I believe they're Dodge tickets, or you know, one of the metal embellishments, and this one says Simplify. So I did dangle that. The paper collection that I use is the 8x8 collage paper collection that he has out, and it's kind of a mixture of all the different collections that he has. I used some of my washi tape to go over the spine here and here, just as added protection so that it wouldn't start to crack and tear. And for the cover, I used his ornate frame Sizzix die out of chipboard, and then I used my, paint dauber from Tim Holtz to paint it black. It kind of has a distressed look. The cork in here is from Hobby Lobby Paper Studios, and it just says travel. And I used a lot of these, I used a couple of the journaling tickets here, and then I used a lot of these Adage tickets, where he doesn't seem to sell these anymore, but remember these? These are so awesome. So I used quite a few of these, and what I used a great deal of are these Chit Chats. The Chit Chat, the first one that came out, then I used the Small Talk, and then I used the Big Chat. So, that I used a lot of those in here, and that's where I got the sentiment memories. So these are travel memories. This is a Recollections flower from the $2 bin, and the little doily underneath is from Terry Paper Lover here on YouTube. So thank you, Terry, for these beautiful crochet doilies. And then I used the corner, small corner, I don't know what you call them, corner protectors for all my covers. So let's get into it. I used a lot of my Tim Holtz dies. As you can see, it's very, very chunky. Much more chunky than I had anticipated, but there you go. So for the inside front cover, I used the Sizzix die, envelope Sizzix die from Tim Holtz, and I created this envelope. And inside the envelope, I just put, I created a little mini book with a sheet from a 12x12 paper, the Tim Holtz paper collection, and I just used the Chit Chat. It says World Traveler, and then So I put together that little book, and then I just created a ticket for journaling for the inside envelope. And then the first page is kind of a flip page. It's an envelope or pocket page. And I used the Sizzix die where he has all of these words in his handwriting. And this one says cherish. And I just used some crocheted lace and a flower. Created a little tag to go in the envelope. Just simple like that. And for the other side, I did a little bit of stamping. I used the sentiment that said friends. And for each page, I tried to include a little positive sentiment from his small talk book here. And this one says, be fearless. And then I just added some ephemera, layered some ephemera here. And then for the first page, I used the picture wheel Sizzix die, and it says live in the moment. Again, that's from the small talk. I used some of these adage tickets and journaling tickets from Tim Holtz, and because I used this as a tuck spot. And then I created a little photo mat, and this little film strip is from Tim Holtz. And I did that because, as you can see, this paper has a lot of like tickets and movie tickets and theater tickets. So that's why I, created the page in this way. And then each page has a tag that comes out of the top like this. And I used the mixed media dies, Sizzix dies, thinlits, to create a different look on each one. So this is how this one looked. And then I used my circle punch to create a little tab pull. And there's nothing on the back. But you could do some journaling on the back or use it as a photo mat, if you have a white pen. So that's that. And then the next page, I just, adhered some of this brown crocheted lace. I wanted to use the pen nib here, and I fussy cut this postcard out from the collection and used it as a tuck spot. I used this adage ticket. It says love, and I created a couple of tags, fussy cut the image from the collection, and I also used up a pack of his ephemera for this mini album as well. So you'll see a lot of the ephemera from the pack. For this page, because of the background, it's that sewing theme page with the buttons and all that. So I used the mini dress form die, and I did some stamping, and I colored it, and I layered it on top of another handmade crochet doily. This one says be original, and I used the little hanger clip, as you could see up here, and this little card is a stamp, and I just fussy cut it and adhered my buttons onto the stamped button card. I thought it was appropriate for the theme of this page. And then I just fussy cut this out of the paper collection, and just another little ticket that I created. So a picture can fit there, so I thought that was cute. And then for this tag, it looks like this. I love those mixed media dies. Really sweet. And then the next page is this, and this is a fold out. And this one has all of the different game pieces and numbers. So I created a little pocket, and I used the chit-chat that says remember to play. And I created a little booklet using the bingo card cutouts from the paper collection. It's a whole page of these tiny little bingo cards. So I just folded them out to create a little booklet. And I used my tiny attacher to staple a couple of the pieces of ephemera together. and they just fit back in the pocket here. And there's a magnet in here so it stays closed, but inside looks like this. And I used the word family here and kept the older gentleman in there. I think that's cool. And then over here it says, this is what family looks like, and I used my Martha Stewart die to punch out the butterfly, so this is a good place for a photo. And then the other side is this, and it says Bon Voyage, adventure awaits you. That's from the Small Talk or whatever, one of those. And I used this adhesive crocheted lace, and I cut out the old jalopy from the Sizzix die because it looks like they're going on a trip. If you could see that background paper, really cool. And then the inside looks like this. I used the butterfly paper, and it says there's beauty in simplicity, and I used the Martha Stewart punch to punch out that butterfly. And I used the it's not the mixed media die set, it's the one with the scribbles and then the scribbled heart and then the splotches. I'm sorry, I forgot what die that is. It's a Tim Holtz die of Thinlits, but I used the rose on that one along with a Martha Stewart butterfly and a little banner there, and that just stays closed with the magnet. And then I created a little tag out of the map paper from the collection, and it just tucks in there, and the inside piece pulls out, and it's the music sheet paper, and I thought that was awesome. So these are a great place for extra photos or journaling. And then for this side, it's again more travel themed, and this is a paper bag fold out. But as you can see, the background is this ship and pictures of people going on a trip on overseas. And I used the Small Talk. It says embrace the journey. I used a recollections anchor, and I wrapped some twines, for a little nautical look there. And this inside tag is simply this for some journaling. Use your white gel pen for some journaling and a photo. So that slips back in the bag. I won't fuss with it right now, but the inside looks like this, and it's more of the like passport type paper and images. And I did the same thing. I used the anchor, and this time I used the blue and white baker's twine for more of a nautical look. And I used a couple of these little women that I fussy cut out of the paper collection for a tuck spot, and again more of the map paper for a tag. And then for the inside, I really like this inside paper. It's more of the ocean liner, so I used this Prima camera photo camera clip to clip in another tag. See, really cool paper. And the tags, I cut it out to where it said Captain's Dinner, and it had the menu for the captain at the captain's table. So I thought that was cool to keep here. And it says, and so the adventure begins. That's another one of the Small Talk. So that folds back in. And this other side is about travel, but more airplane travel. So I used the Tim Holtz Sizzix die of the small airplane. Used my black paint dauber, Ranger pink paint dauber, to color it, and adhered it here. And it says, with brave wings she flies. This is a paper bag as well. So another photo mat on craft cardstock. And then this opens up like this, and on the inside flap there's the cloud that comes with the airplane. Let's see, is it better if I turn? I think that's a little better, right? Anyway, there's the cloud. This is a geotag Brad, but I took the Brad part off and just adhered it there with this old photo of the young men. And this is a cutout from the paper collection. It's like an old birth certificate that you need when you travel overseas or something. And it says the journey is the destination, so I thought that was appropriate. And the inside, I just used one of those cut one of those scribble hearts out, and I adhered it here, and it says start each day with a grateful heart, so I thought that was cute. Picture of the airplane in the background. And this is the pocket for this one. Another one of those mixed media dies I used on that paper. So just really, really cool. And then the next page is this. And this page kind of got away from me. This is the clock page. And this is the Tim Holtz clock die. I used half of it, and I had painted it with the black paint dauber from Ranger. And this is a piece of the ephemera. I cut it in half to make a tuck spot, and I used the Adage ticket. It says live. And I adhered this clock here, the metal embellishment from Tim Holtz. And it says collect beautiful moments. So I thought that was appropriate. I didn't leave a whole lot of space for a photo, but I did tuck in some ephemera from the ephemera pack. So I thought that was cute. Any notes or journaling can be done on the back side of those. So they just tuck back in there. And then for this page, for this side, I took some of these metal pieces, and I cut this metal piece in half, and then I used my Fabri-Tac to adhere them and created a little tuck spot using these metal pieces. I used one of the splats over here and the word inspire. I tore it over here and put in this game piece paper just for the look of it. And I created another tag. Use my tiny attacher to stick some ephemera to it, and this is a piece of the ephemera here, and that gets put in. And I used this piece as another little stopper for my pieces so that they don't fall out. And then inside this page is this one. Really cool. And then the next page is this. I created another pocket page. I used my Dodge ticket. It says soar. And this is the map page, the map paper, as you can see. So I used this cork airplane from the Paper Studios there. And I just tucked in some of the ephemera from the Tim Holtz ephemera pack. I created this ticket, out of a scrap. I created this tag. And I made a photo mat for extra photos, so they all fit in the pocket here. And then these are the paper bag pages that I included in the album. So for these, I just did some collage work, and I collaged some of the ephemera along with some of the cut pieces that I cut using his Sizzix dies. And this one says happiness depends on ourselves, and inside the paper bag are a couple of photo mats. So there's the first one, and there's nothing on the back, but there's the first photo mat. And then you turn the page, and I used my tea Sizzix die from Tim Holtz to create this teacup. And I painted it with the Ranger paint and went over it with the clear Ranger embossing powder. Came out really cool. I did some stamping in the background with the Tim Holtz stencil. I used, cheesecloth to create the image of smoke coming up from the teacup. The sentiment says, embrace imperfection, love yourself. I love the positive messages in the small talk. And then this is the photo mat for that page. And for this one, it looks like this. Again, I took several of the ephemera pieces and layered them. I took one of the scribbled roses and adhered it here. I took one of the bird cages and the bird from the Sizzix die and did it the same way, painted it, and then used the clear embossing powder over it to make it look like it was epoxy. I used the Tim Holtz punch for the gold bird there. It says the impossible is often the untried, so I thought that was cool. another photo mat for that pocket, and then the opposite side of this bag looks like this. I tried to give it a little steampunk edge with the gears that I created from the Tim Holtz die. Painted them and used the embossing powder on these as well. Layered a bunch of the ephemera. The arrow is from a Sizzix die, Tim Holtz Sizzix die. It says replace fear of the unknown with curiosity, so I just used a mixture of different ephemera. And this is the last photo mat for that pocket. And then this page I created a belly band, and I wanted to use some more metal pieces, so I just used the number 5 metal piece here. It has no significance, I just thought it looked cool with the old photo of the woman and a little cork arrow, and it just holds these pieces of ephemera. I like the Tim Holtz ephemera packs. They're just filled with all kinds of cool things. So they slip back in the belly band. And this last tag, there's always one that sticks, right? Oh, it's clipped. Sorry. So that's that one. And then here on this side, I used these gold paper clips, and I adhered chain to each one to keep this page closed, because as you can see, when I undo the chain, this page and this half page kind of, see? So this page opens up, and I used one of the little gears there that I created there, and then this one opens up the opposite way, and I use the adage ticket. It says dream, and it also says great things take time, which I thought went with the timepiece paper collection there. So this opens up that way, and in the center it says be happy, and it's just older vintage photos with the squiggle heart piece from the Sizzix die, if you could see that there. And then this piece, watch me have a hard time getting this out. There's always one. Sorry about that. And there, that's what this one looks like. So that's cool. I'm gonna have to figure out why it's stuck. But again, using the mixed media thinlit dies. So that's how that works. And then you just, you know, clip the top and then clip it back to the side. I won't fumble with it now for the sake of time, but it's also a nice place to add charms. And then for the back side, the back inside piece for here, this is the Tim Holtz, I forgot what die he calls it, but it's the one that opens up like this. And I used my K & Company pieces for this part, for the closure, just because I had them. I used a Dodge ticket. It says story here, and there's nothing in here right now, but it's a good place for mementos or letters or receipts you want to save. So I thought that was cute, and it just closes up like so. And that is the end of the mini album. So I thought it came out really cute, much more chunky than I had planned, and it was a lot of fun using the Tim Holtz products and papers, and trying to get over the intimidation of these beautiful products. So thanks so much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye now.